If you're in your last semester in Canada, you're probably wondering about applying for your PGWP application. And in this video, I'm going to show you the step-by-step process on how you can submit your application with the new 2026 rules. In this video, we will cover who is actually eligible, because not everyone is now, how the new language rule works, which documents you need, how to fill IMM 5710 correctly, and most importantly, when can you start working full-time without messing your PR chances with IRCC? And I can assure you, after you are done watching this video, you don't need any other PGWP video out there. So make sure you stick till the end. And if you're new here, my name is Sudhanya, I'm an ex-recruiter. And in the last 8 years of my Canadian journey, I have not paid a single dollar to an immigration consultant. So I exactly know how to handle all these processes. Let's dive in. Let's start with foundation. PGWP or postgraduate work permit. You're allowed to work anywhere across Canada in any organization as long as it is legal work. And a lot of people don't realize how amazing this is, because if you look at US immigrants, you can only work in your own field within 90 days of you graduating. And if you're not able to land a job within that time frame, you are out. And seeing that, I personally feel IRCC is making all these changes and making it much more stricter in all various areas of immigration process here in Canada. In fact, just in 2026, IRCC have made some major changes in PGWP application, which we will divide in 3 core eligibility rules. Rule number 1 is program length and full-time status. Your program must be at least 8 months long at an eligible post-secondary institute. And to check if your university or college falls under this list, check out this on their IRCC official website. And lastly, you must be full-time in all the semesters, except in your last semester you can be part-time, because sometimes what happens is we are one to two courses left to finish, and it's okay if you're part-time in your last semester only. But other than that, you have to be full-time all across your study. Of course, if you did 2 back-to-back one-year program in the eligible institution, then you can also apply for an extended work permit, but you have to prove both the programs clearly in your application. Rule number 2 is the 180-day clock. From the day your school officially confirms that you have finished your program, whether that is through your official transcript or through your graduation degree, you have 180 days to apply for your work permit. And if you pass that time frame, you're no longer eligible to get this work permit. Again, don't mix it with your convocation ceremony, because that usually happens after 6 months. You are totally eligible to apply the moment you get the completion letter from your university. And rule number 3, your status when you apply. And this one is critical. The moment you click for the PGWP application, if your study permit is valid, you can apply normally. But if your study permit has been expired, then first you need to restore your status, and then you will be able to apply for your PGWP. But here's the thing, if your study permit has expired, then by the time you get your PGWP approved, you cannot work full-time legally in Canada. And a lot of people get confused here, because if you start working, then you are messing up with your application process, and continuing to work in that situation can create some significant problems for your future here in Canada. Now, a lot of PGWP videos that you see on YouTube are outdated, but one of the biggest update is from November 1st, 2024, there is a language requirement that you need to appear for either your English test or French test to even apply for your work permit. This wasn't the case before 2024, but now if you are applying for work permit, you need to give these exams. And you know what's interesting? A lot of people have started going for TEF exam before graduating. They enroll themselves in French school and give this exam, because this is going to be valid for 2 years. Once they clear it, first they're going to apply using the same exam for work permit, and then after 1 year of work experience, they'll be eligible to apply for their PR. So before, whatever wait time it was, 2 to 3 years to even be eligible to apply for your PR, with TEF, you will be eligible within 1 year. And if you're planning on kicking off your French journey, we have MPM French School, where we are helping hundreds of people in the exact same shoes to get their work permit as well as their PR through this language. And if you're interested, go book a call with our team, see if you're eligible for our school, and if yes, we'll be more than happy to guide you further. So guys, if you're watching this video and you still have 1 semester left, I would strongly recommend you getting into some French school, because that can also help you fasten your process for your PR, not just work permit. And if you talk about the minimum scores, if you're in an university, the score you need is above CLB 7 in all 4 modules. If you have done it in college, then CLB 5 in all 4 modules should be fine for your work permit. But if your score is below that, then your work permit application will be rejected. And here's the catch, the official portal does not have a separate place to submit your test result. You need to submit it in the client information portal. If you forgot to upload it there, the officer will not have anything to verify, and your application will be delayed, or in worst cases, rejected. So make sure you have it ready before you start your application. And talking about the application, let's now talk about the new document list as of 2026 that you need for your PGWP application. Before you even log into IRCC portal, you must have an official transcript final transcript from your school. If you did 2 programs, 1+1, then merge both transcript into one PDF format. Second is the completion letter, a letter from your school confirming you successfully completed the program and the date of completion. Number 3 is your passport, clear scan of the main photo page, the last page, any pages with visa stamps or markings. Your PGWP cannot be issued beyond your passport expiry date. So if your passport is close to expiry, consider renewing it first. And if you want to learn how you can get it renewed, go watch this video where I have given a step-by-step process on how it can be done within a couple of hours. Number 4 is the digital photo. IRCC requires a specific size, which is 420 into 540 pixels under 4 MB. Number 5 is your language test results. And if you're not sure which one to choose, CELPIP, IELTS, TEF, TCF, go watch both of these videos. I've given a step-by-step breakdown of all the exams and how you can choose one. And lastly is the statement of purpose or letter of explanation. This is your chance to explain anything that might confuse an officer. You know, sometimes what happens, our visitor visa has been rejected before, or we have done 2 different education from 2 different institutions. So here's your chance where you can explain every single thing in detail. You can merge your letter of explanation and your language test into one PDF and submit it under client information portal. And finally, the cost. PGWP costs around 225 Canadian dollars as of right now. Now let's go through the actual online steps that you need to follow to submit your PGWP application. So go on Google, type in IRCC website for PGWP and log into your IRCC account. Once you are there, click on apply to come to Canada, choose visitor visa, study or work permit. You'll get a questionnaire and here's how you typically answer if you're applying for PGWP from inside Canada. What would you like to do in Canada? Select work. How long are you planning to stay in Canada? Temporarily more than 6 months. At the end, the system will show you that if you're eligible to apply for postgraduate work permit or not. And if yes, you can see a document called IMM 5710. Download it and next I will show you how to fill that up. Now it doesn't really matter what you watched so far. If you do not fill this form carefully, your application will not move forward. So pay very close attention now. First, to even open this document, you need to have Adobe Acrobat software in your computer or laptop. If you do not have this software, you will not be able to open this form. Again, last I remember, you do not have to pay for this software, but check it one more time. Now, once you open the form, you will see UCI number. Here you will put your study permit number, which is anywhere between 8 to 10 digits. Enter the number only, no spaces, no dashes. Next is your name. Enter the name exactly how it is written on your passport. If your passport does not have a surname, according to IRCC rule, put your entire full name in the family name field and leave given name blank. I still remember my elder brother also did the same thing. So don't worry, you're doing the right thing. But any mismatch here can create problems. Next, you will see application detail and it will ask you what are you applying for. So select apply for work permit for the first time or with a new employer. Even though PGWP is an open work permit, this is still the correct category that you need to choose. Next, in the mailing address, put the address where you are currently staying. But if you feel that you will be moving from here in the next couple of months, then I would recommend putting an address where you can receive these documents. Sometimes people also choose Staples address and they just pick it up from their nearest staple. So you can check it out if that's the option that works for you. But if you're staying and you're not planning on moving anywhere, you can just put the current mailing address. Next option will be coming into Canada, where you will see a couple of options, which are original date of entry into Canada, most recent date of entry, and document number. See, original entry is the very first time when you came to Canada. I came back in August 25th, 2017. So that's what I put. Then most recent date of entry is, for example, while you are studying, you went back home or you visited United States or you went to Mexico. So you need to add when was the last time you entered Canada. I remember, see, I used to travel to India every single Diwali, so I had to put the latest one. So check it when it was for you. Once you're done with that, next you will see details of intended of work permit, where you can choose postgraduate work permit. Next is your education section. If you have completed one program and then you're applying for work permit, just add the start and the end date of that program. But if you have completed 2 back-to-back 1-year program, then you need to put the first start date of your study permit and the end date of your second study permit. Of course, you need to support this with the letter of completion from both the institute. So make sure to have that handy. And next it will be your employment history, which will going to ask you in the last 10 years or 18 years, whichever is closest. If you had no job and was just full-time student, that's totally fine. You can put occupation as student, but make sure to avoid any unexplained gaps, because that's what makes immigration officer to delay your application. And once everything is filled, you type in your name, you add the date, and you hit validation. And now you will see some barcodes. And if you do not see that, that means you haven't filled the form correctly. And here's another thing, guys. If you edit anything after hitting validation, you need to make sure you validate that document again. This is one mistake I did. I made some changes, I forgot to add some details, and then I forgot to validate it again, but my information was not updated. So you have to make sure you validate the moment you change anything in the document. Hit that validation button again and again, because you need to submit the latest barcode which has all the information correctly filled by you. And now you're ready to submit. In your IRCC account, you will upload the validated IMM 5710 document. You will upload the transcript and completion letter, upload your passport pages, your digital photo, and the language test and the letter of explanation in the client information. Double check every file, make sure each one is readable in the format IRCC wants, and then pay the $225 fees for your PGWP. And once you hit submit, you will receive two things: a confirmation of your application submitted, and later an authorization letter. Now this letter is very important because now when you're applying for a job and an employer asks you about your work permit, you can show this document that clearly showcases that you're legally allowed to work full-time here in Canada while waiting for your work permit to be approved, because it's currently taking 7 to 8 months to get your work permit approved. So guys, don't panic if you do not hear back from IRCC after a couple of weeks, because currently it is taking months to get your work permit in hand. But don't worry, you're legally allowed to work full-time with that authorization letter, so keep that thing handy. And if you're already thinking about PR, the next step should be understanding how to calculate your CRS score, because who knows, you might be eligible to get a PR in the next 6 to 8 months. And if you want to learn how you can do that without paying anyone, just go watch this video and understand step by step where exactly you stand. I'll see you guys in the next one.